Hey casters, welcome back to MetaZoo News here at Collecticon Miami 2025. With me, I have the one, the only, Charlie Hurlocker. Charlie, thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. We're very happy to have you. We do have some questions for you here from the fans and the community. First and foremost, MetaZoo's relaunch has been an absolute massive undertaking. What has been the most challenging part of bringing MetaZoo back to life?
I think the hardest part has been probably just getting all of the pins on time, kind of lined up. It's getting them organized and sequenced into the order that they go in. There's some things that there's a lot of work behind the art, but we started with a great cast of artists, and we had the studio had other artists that it already had a relationship with, and so that helped us kind of like manage that aspect. Supply chain is always difficult, and when you're going for sort of like a global release, which we really felt like the global nature of cryptids needed to be part of what we were doing from day one. That getting that queued up was a really massive undertaking, especially on sort of the time scale that we pulled it together with. So yeah, I would say that, and importantly, we wanted to pull it off without rushing things, like we wanted to make sure that we were sequencing from day one in such a way that everything got the time that it needed. But again, that was a system of just lining up pins to really make sure we knew all the steps and had them in the right order and we're executing. So
For sure. Excellent. So we now know all of the gameplay details. Of course, the demo experience has 3 lanes instead of 4, 15 points to score instead of 30 to win the game. What is something about MetaZoo's mechanics or design philosophy that you think will define it in the TCG space?
You should definitely talk to the senior product developer for this as well. But for me, at least when I play it, because I've played a lot of other games as well. I played Pokemon. I used to travel for years to play Pokemon. Played Keyforge. I played Marvel Dice Masters at HeroClix. Like I've played lots of games over time. And I think the thing that's the most interesting to me is when it originally presents, if you're looking at it, not playing it, but just looking at it, I think that you see sort of the resource system and you assume that it's sort of a standard resource system. But when you go and you actually play the game, you realize that the resource economy is secondary to the action economy. And so the act of like what you do each time and how you sequence those things is so critically important to how our game plays and how it feels. I think that's extremely unique. And I think that when people really start to unlock the depth, everybody wants, you want a low barrier to entry and a high skill ceiling, right? I think we hit it. I really do. And I think that when people spend time with it, there's going to be a moment where you've played, 20, 30 games and it's going to click and you're going to have a game. And at the end, you're going to go, that was really deep.
Yeah.
There was a lot more there. And you're kind of like understanding like what happened. And there's so many layers to unlock in the strategy. And that comes from, going into a field where resource economies are kind of everything and having something that's action economy, I think is going to feel extremely unique over time.
Excellent. Yeah. I really look forward to playing a demo game here in a few minutes for sure. Very excited about that. Loved your interview or your letter, I suppose, in that MetaZoo magazine. Thought that was very well done. So looking beyond the base set, what excites you the most about the future of MetaZoo? Any big picture goals or innovations you're pushing for in the coming years?
In the short run, I think that I'm really excited for the convention activation that we're doing and the cards and packs and promo program that we're putting together there. I'm hoping that we'll have that at maybe even the next one. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Supply chain. We'll have it as soon as we can. I think it's something that hasn't been done before. And so in terms of like what's innovative, I think that we've built an awesome, really cool core product and we've started from a really strong place. But a lot of the elements in many ways are familiar. And so even if we bring excellence to that and we innovate in small ways, it's a familiar experience. And I think that that's going to be actually an unfamiliar experience. I think it's going to be brand new. I'm super excited to see how it plays out and kind of, iterate in real time. As you've seen, we're willing to iterate. Like we're willing, we'll get it right. We're willing to play it until we get it right. And so I'm really excited about that. I think long term, I think that we have the ability to integrate in cool ways the global nature of the IP and to take sort of these different regions and different areas that people play and bring them together through the meta games that people participate in ways that other games can't, right? I think generally people have a core product, and other than the localization of language, there's not a lot they can do. There's not a lot that they can do to make it interactive, or maybe they even prevent it, right? There's times where when they release a product into one market, they don't want it to gray market out, you know? The Pokemon does not want Japanese product being sold in America. That's not really how they design it. It's not something that they push for. In other games that do localization, you know, like or like Magic, where it's like everything's very like driven by the play, you know, the localization really only serves that local community. So being able to take sort of those elements and make them compelling and exciting for a globally connected kind of online kind of like interaction, you know, and allowing people to participate the ways that they do, but get more out of the richness of the IP as a result of it is very exciting. It's something that I have wanted for a long time as a collector and not felt that I've gotten to really experience yet. So.
For sure. One last question for everyone out there in the community. You've been part of MetaZoo for a long time. Do you have a favorite cryptid yet?
It's really challenging because it's every time you think that you decide on one, some artist will hit like something out of the park. And, you know, for me, I don't know that I'm necessarily driven by the individual characters as much as like the artistic representation of them. So like I would have never said like Rainbow Crow as like one, but the artist who did the MetaZoo, John Gagne. I've only ever read it, so it's like I think it's John. It's like they're like Pokemon names, right? Where you like good, nobody really knows how to say them. But like, yeah, I think that the Rainbow Crow, you know, I see that artwork and I'm like, do I love Rainbow Crow? Like, what's happening, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that's the type of experience I'm having. I love like Snallygaster is like a really like a character that definitely like I naturally wouldn't be drawn to. But like when he's like eating the pig and it's like the Caleb Arredondo, I think did that one. And it's just like that alternate art makes me love Snallygaster.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, if I had to pick a character, right? You know, obviously it brought Sun Wukong in. I think anytime you can get sort of that deep like literature background, you know, where it's like you have like hundreds and hundreds of years of like iteration that's happened through art and literature and like these deep humanity elements, and you get a chance to explore those through the artwork. That to me is really exciting. And so I like Sun Wukong right now because Sun Wukong I think is like our first stab at basically trying to pull in those elements, you know, and really make something rich. But it'll change. I'm sure. I'm sure it'll change.
I hear you. All right, casters, that's all we have for Mr. Charlie Hurlocker. Charlie, thank you so much again for joining us today. Absolutely. And folks, keep an eye out at your local game store for the new MetaZoo.